Alright, welcome back to Shrek for the Xbox, Shrek's Box, if you will. This level is way different. It has no storybook intro for one, but the entire gimmick of this level is to blow up breakable doors with a powder keg. Of course, to blow up the breakable doors with the powder keg needs to be on fire. And there are many ways to catch it on fire. There are torches, and there are flaming arrows shot by the knights around. Like that. The flaming knights are also our greatest adversary, however, because we want the powder keg to blow up next to the breakable door and not before that. So the biggest challenge in the level is to not catch the powder keg on fire until it reaches the door. And that is really difficult. It took me a very long time to get through this level the first time, but I've practiced it now, so it's not so bad. I believe I found a fairly good strategy for it. Unfortunately, the knights have impeccable aim, as you saw, so even if we're running as fast as possible with a powder keg, it has the tendency to catch on fire anyway. I would like it if the knights would stay unconscious longer when we punch them. That would really help, but this level's still only 6 to 7 minutes, even with the difficulty. And even though the knights are by far our greatest frustration, using them to light the powder keg also way more convenient than using any of the torches. For example, if we used the torch in this room to light the powder keg would surely explode before we even reach the door. But if we instead lure the flame knight over here by the door with the powder keg, then we can make the flame knight shoot at it while it's right next to the door. Much easier. Theoretically. There we go. That's 2 out of 3 breakable doors down. There's only 1 left, but we're hurting a bit, so we're gonna have to jump up here to get some health, and the health is only located in this room. It's also kinda hard to reach. You might not even know it's here if you weren't exploring the level thoroughly. So you might die here a lot, is what I'm saying. But it's a good thing I'm here to show you where the health pickups are located. They're hidden away pretty well. Right, so now we need to go back to the first room, grab the powder keg, and carry it all the way to the third room, and blow up the door in there. It's a little bit frustrating. I will say that I definitely like the color scheme for Merlin's tower. It seems more like a theme park wizard's tower than a real wizard's tower to me, but I like that aesthetic. We moved the flaming knight into the third room so that way he wouldn't catch our keg on fire in the second room. That means the third room will be slightly harder to deal with, but it'll also make it a lot easier to get to the third room in the first place. You can move the knights around from room to room simply by grabbing them, but it can be difficult to move them back, so be careful of that. I'm not sure whether you could call this level an exploration of any of the mechanics. I mean, the grapple is obviously essential to what's happening here, but this seems more like a gimmick to me than an exploration of anything in the base game, you know? They introduced new mechanics specifically for this level, and they don't really complement the grabbing mechanics any. So I don't think this should count. That time the keg exploded before it reached the door, so I'm just gonna cut to when that's done successfully. Let me tell you, getting the keg up here without it exploding first was a small miracle. Now we're gonna go back and get health and then prepare for the final confrontation with Merlin. The reason we need the health is of course because Merlin is a boss battle. It's not a really hard boss battle, but if you die at Merlin, then you're probably going to be really frustrated at having to repeat the powder keg gimmick. Does this seem like an adequate finale to you? I mean, we're not at the boss yet, but the boss is going to be more underwhelming than this level has been so far. It doesn't really seem like an appropriate conclusion. I get that the whole game was underwhelming, but like I said, the dancing cow in the last level definitely more interesting than this. Before we do anything else, we're going to get the flaming knight out of here so that way we can focus on jumping onto this pillar. Merlin is hurling magic arrows at us from up there, and after we punch him a few times, he will retreat into his main room. I don't know what else to call it. He will retreat into his big bad guy room. And if we're going to pursue him in there, we're going to first get health one more time, just to be safe. Alright, now we've entered the boss room and the doors are locked behind us, which means we can't go and get health anymore. Merlin's first phase involves sniping at us while his minions attack us. Now, for the first time in the game, killing his minions makes them actually disappear, instead of just knock them out. Then after that, we need to place the keg right next to his orb, which will explode it, and now we can attack him directly by going up to the second level. Come on. Now, the best way to do this is simply to run around in a circle. like this, and punch Merlin whenever we run by him. Little drive-by punches, run-by punches, if you will. This is much easier than standing in the same place, because Merlin will hit you if you do that. It looks really stupid, but hey, this game looks really stupid. After we hit Merlin enough times up here, he will teleport down in front of the fireplace for his final phase where he just stands in front of the fireplace. After that, we just wail on him a couple more times and he's down for the count. It's a rather anticlimactic boss battle. But yeah, after we take down Merlin, that will be it for Shrek on the original Xbox, or Shrek's box if you will, and no, I'm not playing the remake, ever.
Didn't see that coming.
Come here, you wanna fight? I'll fight you. Alright, class. Now, fall up. Hold out. Fall up. Hold out. This is my whip. I call it Nancy.
Oh.
That's it. Let go.
Flying! It's so much fun!
Come on, don't be so mean. You're a meanie.
I wonder how I can torture the jesters today. Excuse me, have you seen my little friends? They're like me, only smaller.
I'll make you sorry you're ever born.